like I say, talk right in the microphone. Turn your head, goes right out. I can be quick because we got a phenomenal program for you. I want to thank the elected officials that are attending. From the office of Governor Evers, we have Vanessa Yanis. From the office of Senator Ron Johnson, we have Richard Holtzberger. From the office of Senator Kenny Baldwin, we have Rebecca Beretta. We have Washington County Supervisor and past Mayor Larry Nelson. We have a lot of our common council members, Alicia Halvin-Slavin, Steve Johnson, Steve Lefke, Rick Lefke, Elizabeth Moulton, Joe Piper, Mike Payne, Mike Friesen. As always, I want to thank Tuscan Hall for what they put on for us. They always do such a great job, and they actually make it so that we can do this at a reasonable price. Helping Hand Senior Group for the Park Recreation and Forestry Department have done the centerpieces. And from what I've heard is they really enjoy doing them. We give them the supplies, we make them happy, they make us happy. So our next breakfast is Tuesday, December 6th. And we're gonna just go right into Kevin's gonna speak, and then we're gonna go right into our program. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mayor Riley. Like the mayor, I'll be brief this morning. Thank you all for coming to the breakfast this morning. 7 years ago, when we were coming up with the idea for this breakfast, we said, you got to feed them. And so obviously, free breakfast for people who can otherwise afford it is what your kids should do. So thank you all for coming. I appreciate it. Just a couple of updates about what's going on in the city. We are excited about quite a few things, and I just wanted to highlight a few things before we introduce our program this morning. The first thing is that this fall, I'm really excited. We're with a partnership with UW Extension. We are doing our first local government academy, and so we opened that up to the public, citizens at Waukesha. We had a tremendous response in terms of applications, and it's an 8-week program, a deep dive into local government and leadership and the duties of elected officials, and doing fun stuff at the fire station and the police station and a bunch of other things. And so we're really excited about that. That's happening starting in September this year. Another thing I want to mention is that if you haven't been to a Tribute Tuesday, go. Cutler Park, it's an excuse to party on a Tuesday night. We get 1,000, 1,500 people in the park. On August 9th, we have a Bruno Mars tribute. Whether or not you like Bruno Mars, we've got beer and food. Come and have fun at Tribute Tuesday, and we'll go enjoy our downtown. We also have some important work that's being done by our Parade Memorial Commission. And so recently the group met and have selected 5 finalists where they'll be presenting soon. And so we're really looking for input on those submissions from the public. And we're going to be scheduling meetings for that very soon. And those 5 finalists will be presenting their work, and then eventually the commission will decide on what the parade memorial will be. And so we're really asking for the public to provide input on that. And then, of course, the commission also has the job of raising funds. So you can already start donating now. It's on our website. So go out there and take a look, and if you are so inclined, make a donation for the memorial. I got exciting news just yesterday. We got preliminary numbers from the state, and the city's what they refer to as net new construction, which is basically the value of new construction in the city. This last year the initial estimate is $83.9 million. And for us, that's a really nice number. We are very excited about that. And that's a reflection of some really hard work by our folks in community development and city council and the mayor's office. Really paid close attention to the redevelopment of the city. So the stuff that we've been doing out at Fox run, the investment that East Group's put into our community over there, the stuff that we're doing downtown. You can see some of the new apartments going up. That's really a reflection of that. And it's a really important thing for us, and we continue to work really hard on redevelopment efforts out. And so we are excited about that, and we're hoping to continue on that progress going forward. Just a couple of other things that I'm sure you might have heard about. We're really excited about our partnership with Habitat for Humanity. The city is contributing $1 million for what's known as the Arrow Shade Project, which is a couple of blocks from my house. And it's 18 single-family homes, owner-occupied affordable homes. And we are, as a city, we're investing in affordable housing, both owner-occupied and rental throughout the city. So we've established an affordable housing program within the city. We're working with Center for Growth and our Grow Fund to do more affordable housing, and we're looking for additional affordable projects. And so that's something that's a big focus for us. Housing affordability is a huge issue, and we're looking to do more of that as we move forward. And then last but not least, we're launching our Central City Storefront Activation Program. So that's a grant and loan program to help our businesses downtown reinvest in their business to do upgrades to things like sprinkler systems, which is really expensive in all buildings, commercial kitchens, and things of that nature. So we're really excited about that. The City Council has contributed $1.2 million to that program through our ARPA funds. So reinvestment in the community in that way. So, and last but not least, construction will be done relatively soon. I know we all hate it while it's happening. Yeah, Arcadia is done. So if you travel Arcadia, you're welcome. But St. Paul, relatively soon, we'll be wrapping those things up. And it'll be better, the city will be better for it. So I am going to introduce Robin and then let the panel do their work. So Robin Lefke is the Senior Vice President of Strategic Initiatives and Workforce at the Wctc County Business Alliance and Wctc County Center for Growth. She plays a major role in the county's economic development work, implementing the county's workforce development strategy to develop, attract, and retain talent. Robin oversees the Alliance's talent and workforce development strategies, along with the county's engagement with K-12 and post-secondary educational institutions, the Education Steering Council, and the Alliance's Workforce Solutions Council. I don't know how she has time for that. But in addition, she's also volunteers throughout the county, in boards such as United Way of Greater Milwaukee and Wctc County, Blessings in the Backpack for Wctc County, the Wctc County Urban Task Force, and many more. Robin and her husband Troy live with their 14-year-old son Mason and live your daughter Savannah in the mountain. So Robin, please come up.
And thank you for your partnership with the Wctc County Center for Growth and with the Business Alliance and the business community here. The city of Wctc is really the heart of Wctc County. It's where a lot of business is taking place, and so it's just a pleasure to have the chance to work with you and your council here in the city. And I'd like to say, if you ever have questions about the Business Alliance or the Center for Growth, you can always ask the city of Wctc because you guys are such great advocates of what we do to support business. So thank you. As the administrator said, my name is Robin Lefke. I have the pleasure of working with our member businesses with the Business Alliance to support ways to develop, attract, and retain talent. For some of you that don't know the Business Alliance, and I know I see several friendly faces in the audience, we are essentially your countywide chamber of commerce. We've been standing beside the business community for 104 years, representing your voice. And we do that through our 4 pillars. We find ways to advocate on behalf of the business community. We find ways to help you develop your organization and your talent. We will find ways to engage the business community in areas like this. And we want to make sure that you have the opportunity to grow your business here in Wctc County, to make sure it's the best place to do business. And we do that through working with all of you. We are pleased to be able to have the Countywide Economics Development Organization inside the doors, and I'd like to introduce Nicole Rick, our new Executive Director for the Washington County Center for Growth, great partner with the City of Waukesha. And I'd also like to introduce our President and CEO of the Business Alliance, Suzanne Kelly, and our Director of Public Relations and Marketing, Molly McLash. So if you don't know us, come and find us because we want to get to know you. All right, let's get started. So for 104 years, the business community has continuously told us that they want to work on workforce. To be able to grow your business, what's the one thing you need? Talent. The innovation comes from where? Your talent. And we are very, very fortunate here in Washington County to have some of the educational institutions that we do representing your talent. For the past 5 years, the Business Alliance has claimed stake with their workforce development strategy. We want to continue to help the business community develop, attract, and retain the talent. And we can't do that without conversations like this. And we can't do that without having strategic partnerships with institutions representing education. So we at the Business Alliance have forged forward to have the partnerships with every K-12 institution here in Washington County, public and private, as well as our post-secondary institutions. That work has been able to turn the wheel so that we can start to see our talent pipeline become better prepared to be inside your doors. At the Business Alliance, it's imperative that we continue to have these conversations so that we can understand your needs and we can better engage you with the institutions that you're going to hear from today. So I'm pleased to bring forth some panelists who are really representing innovative solutions to be able to get talent inside your companies sooner than later. So let's get started. Less of me and more of them. Sounds fun. So I'm going to call our panelists up one by one, and afterwards I will give them an opportunity to introduce themselves, and that way you can hear a little bit about the campuses. So to get started, I would like to introduce the president of Carroll University, Cindy Nadinger, to the stage. I'd like to introduce the president of Washington County Technical College, Rich Barnhouse. Next, I'd like to introduce the Dean of College General Studies for the Waukesha and Washington campuses for the University of Milwaukee System, Dean Garner. And last, I'd like to introduce Ms. Carrie Deuce. She is the Director of Internal and Government Relations for the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. As you can see, the City of Waukesha has put together a fabulous panel for you. We'll have a few questions that we're going to go through, and then if we have time, we'll open it up to the audience. All right, so let's get started. I'd like to be able to have the audience hear a little bit about you and your campuses. So President Nadinger, can we start with you?
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me okay this way? Good morning. I'm Cindy Nadinger, and I was just telling Suzanne Kelly that I'm no longer the new president at Carroll University. I just wrapped up my 5th year and heading into year 6, and it's been a wonderful ride. I am proud to be serving at Carroll University. Of course, we just finished our 175th anniversary year, and we are Wisconsin's first and oldest institution of higher learning. We were founded in 1846 with, I like to say, 2 faculty members and 5 students. And today we are a vibrant campus. We have 4 schools, a College of Arts and Sciences, a College of Health Sciences, we have a School of Business, and we have a School of Education and Human Services. And in total, we have approximately 3,400 students who partake in our educational services. And so it's good to be here this morning.
Thank you for joining us. President Barnhouse, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your campus?
Yes, thank you. Good morning again. It's great to be up here with all of my colleagues. I don't see them enough. My name is Rich Barnhouse. I am the new president.
Say that.
Yeah, I'm the new guy. I'm new president at WCTC, and it's certainly my privilege to serve in this capacity. We have a fairly large institution. We have about 1,200 employees, and we serve about 16,000 students all in on an annual basis. We have 5 schools, and at this point, I think we are looking at our next century. So this coming January, we'll celebrate our 100th anniversary, and we're really pivoting toward what is the future and what does it look like. And so I want to thank all the businesses who have invited me out and my teammates out to spend time at different companies and organizations to learn more about what you do and how WCTC can serve you and deliver the workforce you need. So thank you very much for having me today.
Absolutely, thank you. Robert, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself and Washington and Waukesha campuses?
Yeah, sure. I'm Simon Bronner, now going into my 4th year. I'm a Waukesha resident and very happy to serve the Waukesha, Washington County campuses since 2018. The UW colleges were restructured, and Waukesha and Washington County were restructured with the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, thereby adding a regional footprint, and we've been true to that and growing. We're the largest in Waukesha of the branch campuses. I see many of you were at the Waukesha event that we had last fall, showing the network upgrade, various kinds of physical plant upgrades, as well as new programs, particularly the nursing program, which we'll talk about later. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Ms. Dix, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure, good morning. My name is Carrie Deuce, and I've been at UW 18 years. I bring greetings this morning on behalf of Chancellor Mark Money, who would like to be here but had a last-minute change to his schedule. UW has 25,000 students, and 83% of them are from the state of Wisconsin. They're Wisconsin residents. We have a dual mission of access, which means we let a lot of students in who need a little bit of extra support to really get them to the finish line to a degree. And we also have a Research One mission, which means that we engage in all sorts of national and international research that really changes the economy and changes how we think about problems. And so it's a really unique mission in the UW system that we serve, and we're very happy to be here today and talk about how we can work on talent pipeline issues. So thank you, Robert.
Absolutely. And again, thank you for joining us today. I know there's some representation from your campuses that are here, so if there's questions and you can't get to one of them, I would urge that you talk with them as well. They're out in the audience. So another question that maybe we can take one by one, just to kind of give the audience a little bit of an understanding. How is your specific school providing some, I would say, solutions towards today's workforce climate? We know that in today's climate, we are continuously trying to find ways to get individuals in the door of business. So what are you specifically doing at your campuses to help? Cindy, can you start with you?
Thanks for the question. I think it's a very important one, and I'm happy to talk a little bit about what we're doing in general. First of all, we're having conversations with a lot of you here in this room. We're having conversations with local businesses, with our healthcare leaders, to talk about what it is exactly that we need. I always say that we are here to support our regional needs and people in our community. So we need to know first and foremost what is it that we need. And I also love that I've shared this table with the individuals that are here. We are very different institutions, and you need all of us. You need the types of institutions that are represented today, because we all serve a different role for our communities. So in addition to talking, we have annual monthly meetings with our Analytics and Business Intelligence Consortium on Carroll's campus, which brings business leaders monthly to talk about issues that are relevant, and we take that guidance very, very seriously. In the past 5 years, I'll talk about the 5 years that I've been at Carroll, we knew that we were going to be engaged in this declining demographic and declining workforce and posing challenges for everyone in this room and beyond. And so we began making strategic changes at that time for how to help address those needs. So one of the things we've done is added a new academic program every year to our offerings. A lot of those have happened at the graduate level, but we've done those very strategically to meet the workforce needs. I'll give you so we decided to make a strategic decision to expand that. We now offer nursing programs because we cannot keep up with the demand for how many nurses we need. And that's not just here in Waukesha, it's not just in Wisconsin, it's nationwide. And so we now offer an associate degree nursing program, and that is so students can quickly and have easier access into a program, get their nursing license, go on and get employed, and then finish up that bachelor's degree through an RN to BSN program online at Carroll. So it's another avenue. And then in addition, we opened up a third avenue for nursing, and that is a direct entry MSN program. So now, many of you in the room thinking, I believe it was going to be a nurse. You can take that undergraduate degree that you have, come to Carroll, and at the graduate level, get enrolled in our MSN program at initial licensure level. So again, the way that we're thinking about it is differently. That means we already offer a top-notch nursing program. How can we expand that and provide more access to additional people who might want to be a nurse? And we've got other programs too that we're doing that. We've got a Master of Arts in Teaching that we established 4 years ago. It does the exact same thing. It's for career changers. You've got a degree in something else, but you're thinking about teaching, you can bring that degree and we'll get you through a teaching program called the Master of Arts in Teaching. So again, we're looking at where the gaps are in our workforce, whether it's in healthcare, whether it's in education, whether it's in business, and we are creating the programs in a flexible, different kind of environment that meets the needs of the students who might be looking at doing that. And then the only other thing I will say too, in addition to new programming, we've expanded and offered new credentials. And so that wouldn't be a new degree necessarily, but the upskilling. We offer a variety of credentials, things in business analytics. So someone in your company needs just to upskill in order to take a new role. We've got a lot of offerings for people in that area, finance, supply chain. We do healthcare analytics, healthcare informatics, a variety of credentials. Again, not a full degree program, but a way to upskill. We've got a variety of things that we're doing in collaboration with our community partners.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on at the university.
And I appreciate you saying that you're trying to find ways to hit the gaps that are in the workforce. Because I think it's easy to innovate. That's where having strong universities like yourself be a part of that conversation better supplies the pipeline. So thank you.
You're welcome. And the only other thing I'll add to that, for our conversation last week with one of our largest healthcare providers in this area, I have 2 new academic programs that I'm exploring right now because those were raised as a high need area for our region and for our community. So we're on it and we're looking at it and we'll be addressing that.
Thank you, President Barnhouse, what about you? What kind of solutions is Technical College doing right now to support the workforce?
Well, thank you. Cindy, you have tons of them. I'm just sitting here sweating. Well, we look at this at WCTC as we're going out and meeting with employers in business and industry, not just in Waukesha County, but throughout southeast Wisconsin, as a body problem. And the reason I call it a body problem is even though we're serving, as I mentioned, thousands of students, and have been serving thousands of students for decades. At this point in time, it's not enough to deliver the workforce that all of you need. Because we've got a bit of a body problem. So we look at this at least twofold that I'll talk about today. And that is the existing workforce that's now working in an environment that's very different than 2 years ago. There's a different skill set that's needed there in order to optimize what's happening in every industry in our area, as well as how do we make up for the gap in the declining population that's going to be coming to college but then entering the workforce. So a couple of quick things. One of the things that we've done is we started a program called Wctc Accelerator. And that's a program whereby any junior or senior in high school can come to WCTC full-time, transfer those credits back to their high school, and graduate from high school and with their associate degree in any field that we offer, basically, and enter the workforce at the age of 18 or transfer on to one of our colleagues as a junior at the age of 18. So that really speeds up the pipeline of students coming out of high school into the workforce and speeds up the amount of, or it decreases the amount of time they need to actually graduate before they can reach where they want to do that. This is really starting to get going, and we see those enrollments really starting to grow. As we see it, and I was speaking to a group yesterday, college has got to start when you're a junior in high school. And education is starting to shift in that direction. The other thing that we're doing is that we are working specifically with companies to design academic curriculum for a niche that they can't fill. And so we're not providing, well, we are providing general degrees, but some of them that we're building are now specifically designed for a specific company in a specific industry to meet those needs. And that's a way that I think higher education is going to start to grow as we move into the future. Finally, I'll just say we are now in, I think, our second and a half iteration of our 8-week calendar. And so you think about the traditional 16-week calendar, we've changed that in a way so students are taking fewer courses at the same time, but they're doing them in 8 weeks. It speeds up the time to degree, and it also gives us 5 different access points for students coming on to that enrollment carousel and getting in college instead of 2. And it's got 5 points where students are exiting. So we've got a carousel where people are coming to college more often and getting out of college more often. So those are some of the ones that we're contributing.
So it really sounds like, President, that this WCTC is needed by the challenge to get that through the course faster.
Yeah, absolutely. And getting in the doors quickly and then getting the skills they need and out into the workforce at a higher level than even in the past, or getting them trained to transfer on to our college year.
So just to clarify too, I have a sophomore. So you're telling me that next year when he's a junior, he can go to WCTC and start his college?
That's right, and he can take up to a full course load and start in a program of his choice in any program, and he can stick with that for his senior year or not. And so lots of students are maybe transferring to universities if they decide to transfer with a lot of coursework done, speeding up that time and reducing the cost. Or if his mother will let him, and he continues on in his senior year, then he can graduate with a full associate degree by the time he graduates, at the same time he graduates high school.
So no, for anyone in the room, if you have a kid and you have children right now that are under the age of 18, write that down, right? Because they're getting there faster and then they can transfer into these fantastic institutions right afterwards. Thank you, President. All right, whoever wants to, Carrie wants to take this question. So tell us a little bit, Carrie, about what the University of Milwaukee's system is doing to kind of help that workforce migrate.
Sure. So UWM graduates about 5,000 students a year, and so we put 50,000 plus, students in the last decade, into the workforce. So that's part of it, right? 80% of our graduates are going into the really top 4 fields where we know there's the greatest need. So healthcare, business, computer science, engineering, architecture, engineering. So those STEM fields, business fields, and healthcare, are a major focus. We work really specifically with a variety of employers to really figure out how we adjust those certain needs. And so I'm just going to give you a couple of examples of how those partnerships work with UWM. One is our Northwestern Mutual Data Science Initiative. That's UWM Marquette and Northwestern Mutual. And that's really created new bachelor and master's degrees in data science, which is an emerging field. It's really necessary across all industry, but a great way where you see that public and private partnership. Tech and Frontiers, everyone's talked a little bit about upskilling or reskilling of employees. That's really that quick credentialing of an employee who may not even have a bachelor's degree, but really needs to improve or change their skills, be able to retool mid-career. So doing that quickly, maybe within 12 weeks, as Rich is sort of mentioning, making sure we can meet your needs. We know you can't have them off the job too long. Our Connected Systems Institute is really where you see UWM moving into the advanced manufacturing space. So combining that engineering, robotics, really to figure out how that ties in with business. Microsoft has been a huge partner there as well, as we figure out sort of how those all piece together on your manufacturing floor. How do we train students to do that, at 20 months when they come in, they're really working couple other examples. The UW system attacks freshwater with our freshwater collaborative. So this is really like egg water, lead pipe, Lake Michigan challenges. This is pervasive across the state. So this is really a statewide initiative for UW system to attack the 10 grand water challenges. And then finally, I'll just mention our partnership with MATC and MPS, which is MQ. And that's really a way where we start really early with students, as everyone's kind of mentioning, helping them vision themselves in college and finding a really affordable way to do that. So as they move through MPS, quickly getting to MATC to get credits and then being able to transfer from MATC to UWM as quickly as possible. So you can see what, how higher ed is changing now is really bringing higher ed into that K-12 space so that students can get to a degree quicker, it's cheaper, and ultimately they're able to maximize their junior and senior year. Simon, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, what I have to add are the Waukesha-centered kinds of initiatives. As a community-facing institution, the College of General Studies, we want to be very responsive to you, especially because the county owns our property. And in addition, we have a very strong continuing education program, the largest in the region, and which provides upskilling and reskilling opportunities as well as educational trips and new fields to which we can be responsive even more so than residential instruction, such as artificial intelligence, data analytics, and so forth. And in fact, I can announce to you that we're going to add a business outreach representative as a part of CE who's going to work specifically with businesses on their needs. On the residential side, I did mention the nursing program, and it's true, as President Uter said, that there's a lot of demand, and it has been successful. We started with 32 students, went to 64, and this next year we're going to go to 80. And the opportunity to spend 4 years toward the BS and have clinical placements all in Waukesha County here. And that is exciting, and based upon that experience, this is a preview, has not been announced, but I can tell you we're working on a psychology 4-year degree, and it is appealing not only because it's the largest major at UWM, but also it's a flexible major, which is a theme that we're hearing from the Center for Growth and other employers, the idea of adaptability, responsiveness, nimbleness that psychology provides, and I hope to follow that with communications in a 4-year degree. We are working with our educational partners and with President Barnest's permission. We'll also give you another preview in January 2023. We will be starting a collaborative associate degree that will appeal to working adults, particularly those who are aspirational, where they can take courses in the evening and online and receive the associate degree along with the technical credentials that WCTC provides. We're going to be providing at CGS the liberal arts aspects. There's also been a theme here of reaching youth, and CE has a lot of youth programs, and we receive grants especially to work with women and girls on STEM and developing that aspect of the workforce. We're glad to be able to return to in-person STEM work, and we also are planning to expand the youth programming and dual enrollment in the whole region, including a pilot program similar to some of the other pilot programs you've been hearing called Early College Academy, in which students in high school actually are on the college campus rather than in the high school, and then they can return to the high school campus for their extracurriculars. We're very excited about that. And also in terms of the community-facing aspects, I want to talk about quickly partnerships with our foundation. University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee at Waukesha Foundation works with us a great deal. It's going to be returning to an in-person festival of books that attracted 2,000 people over a weekend, and I think is an opportunity to also draw light on the creative industries in this region that often are overlooked, but there's a whole sector, a growing sector of creative industries that we would like to promote as an institution in addition to exploring business and engineering options. And we're working with Business Alliance on trying to lay foundations for some of those areas as well. Thank you.
Thank you. So you all can hear that they are, and President Manager, I appreciate your comment on you're all different. And that's one of the best parts about the business community, right? Is because you need all shapes of life to come into your organization. And you've got great institutions here that are all different, but they're all working together. And so all of you talked about how you're collaborating and you're talking to one another, and that you're also doing not only working together, but you're working with the business community and you're working with the community. And I heard that time and time again in your answers. And so that kind of poses my next question, I think, which is what can the business community or just the community at large do to help your campuses continue to forge forward? And Carrie, I'm going to actually start off with Carrie with this one.
All right. Well, I think for this question, I was thinking about it. I want to give you a really concrete example because we've all talked about nursing, right? Everybody knows there's a nursing shortage. This is a major area that we all need to lean in to provide more healthcare professionals to the state. So at UWM, similar to Carroll, like we are at max capacity. We are admitting as many nursing students as possible. There's a long wait list. And so what does that mean? What can the community do to help? Well, at UWM, that means we need to be able to invest in new facilities. This is a complicated process at the state level that we go through every 2 years to really figure out how can we update and change our facilities funded through state bonding and state dollars. So we need your help to advocate that those types of building projects are important and that would help us provide more nurses to the community. We also are always looking for new faculty, so maybe you know a retired nurse who'd love to come back to school, get a few additional credentials, and then be part of a faculty member at one of our campuses to be able to put more nurses out into the community more quickly. And then finally, that really brings us to bringing you more students, more parts of your workforce. And so how do we support those students? Well, we support them through scholarships. We support them through the internships that we provide. And you all really bring those opportunities to the table. And so those paid internships, those scholarships, Simon mentioned working with our foundation are critical. The last piece I want to mention, because the Business Alliance is such a great partner, is we really work with the Business Alliance and other groups that provide a concierge service for employee placement. So when you're looking for employees and you're looking for those postgraduate students, we and all of our institutions want to connect with you to find out what your needs are. You know, you might say, I need 14 employees in this specific degree program. Then we can communicate that to the deans, really figure out how to set that program up for you. So it's really all about that two-way communication. We really need your communication and your advocacy so that we can continue to grow our programs in the areas where we know there's the greatest need.
I feel like I'm a broken record with some of you, especially in the Business Alliance, and drawing attention to the problems of transportation and housing. But they continue to be a force for us. I'm glad to say that I have partners here who agree with me, and President Barnas and I have talked about even putting some skin in the game for transportation, and especially a regional approach to it, because we're finding students want to travel, and 80% of our students work. And so the issue of traveling after work, around work, is crucial. And we're 4 miles away from each other. We think we should be part of the regional mix. And I know that the Southeast Wisconsin Regional Planning Commission has put out a number of proposals and hearings, and we hope we will find solutions to that soon. Secondarily, about housing, the reason why that's a concern is that we're part of the workforce. We want to draw brain power back in. You probably read in the newspapers about brain drain from Wisconsin. We're getting applications from all over the United States. And the question that I get is, what about the cost of housing to resell, relocate there, especially for new families? I appreciate the mayor and the region working on that issue. I know they're aware of it, but we've asked that I think is a collective issue also for employers here, which we're.
Thank you. Absolutely agree with transportation. I would say one of the biggest ways that anybody can help is invite us out to your location. That's really, really helpful so that we understand what the needs are. So I see Superior Crane sitting here. I think you probably thought I was an employee for a while because I was at your site so often. And just understanding what's going on, as well as I see Eaton here, and we've been spending a lot of time at Eaton, as well as others. And Nicole and I were out with a few people at Three Pillars recently. So I think it's getting us out to your sites where you are so we can understand what your needs are. And even if we can't meet them tomorrow morning, if we can start planning and meet them in 6 months or a year and really get moving, then I think that that's a great way. So please invite us out. You don't have to provide lunch, although it's kind of nice that you put it out there. But invite us out. We want to understand what's going on with all of you. And the best way for us to really understand what it is like is to put on the boots, the safety glasses, and stand on the floor or the back office in the server room to understand what your needs are. I would also say a great way that you can help yourselves in the future, which also helps us, is to talk to middle school kids. They've got to start hearing about careers and think, and they don't have to make decisions, but just understand what opportunities are there, whether it's college or career. And the sooner we can get them on a college campus or out in business and industry, which the Waukesha County Business Alliance does a great job of, schools to skills, right? Getting students out with employers on college campuses to understand what it's like in the workforce is critically important. So if you know anybody in middle school, start talking to them about things that they might be interested in. And then finally, I'll just say, at WCTC, we have a little over 700 of you that serve on our advisory committees for our academic programs. And so I just want to say thank you, and I would encourage you to continue to serve on our advisory committees. If you want to be involved in WCTC from a programmatic perspective, please consider serving on the advisory committees for programs.
And how do they do that? Did you look at someone who's going to come up to you and say, how do I do that?
Yep.
Is that talk to anybody?
You can talk to Andy. Do you want to raise your hand? I was going to say you can talk to me, but that wouldn't go anywhere. So talk to Andy. Maybe sure to help you out. Thank you, Andy.
Thanks for the question. I have it. So I'll just say 2 things. Well, maybe not, but I'll try to just say 2 things. One is I ask that you be willing to accept our students as interns at your companies. Some of these happen naturally. We talk a lot about healthcare, so those are called clinicals. In our education sector, it's called field work, student teaching. So that happens, and we're already doing that. And so some of you take co-ops, some of you take interns, and we would just ask that you seriously continue to do that. If you're not doing it, you can contact me, and I'll put you in the right direction of the person at Carroll that we would want you to speak at. And just why this is so important, let me just clarify and give you a couple of data points. This is from some national data on Job Outlook and on the internship and co-op report of recent dates. Just over 70% of our employers end up offering the interns who work for them a place at their workforce where they have their internship, and nearly 80% of those students get those jobs. So that's where you find your employees. It's through the internship program that you have at your company. And then if you've had some issues with the Great Resignation, but that's hit most of us, retention rates for those employees are extremely higher than the traditional person who's going through the traditional routes. After 1 year, the retention rate for hires with internal internships at that company is 71.4%, compared to a hire that did not have an internship at all that you found through traditional routes of 42.4%. So there's a value, not just for Carol and our other colleagues here on the stage here, but for your company as well, to invest in an internship program, get to know those students, and build those connections before you ever make that offer of a position. But it's a mutually beneficial opportunity for internships at your company. And then if you're going to go that route and look at our graduates as your employees, I would just ask that you think about ways that you're already, many of you are doing this, we talk about it in Business Alliance, but ways that you are providing professional growth opportunities for your own employees to work together and accept a new, diverse work environment. We've talked about, we're here today talking about it because we've seen for years that this is coming. We've got a dwindling number of high school graduates in our area. And so what are we doing? I can tell you what Carol's been doing. When I came here 5 years ago and looked at our data and looked at where we typically recruit students to Carol, I knew we needed to do something different because if we did only what we had been doing, we would be declining in our enrollments. And as I said to my team, I didn't move here to run a school in decline. So we set a strategy in place and identified places around the country that we thought would be ideal places to begin developing our recruiting pipeline for students to come to Carroll. 700 is our magic number. Every fall, in a couple of weeks, it's going to happen. 700 new students will descend upon Waukesha who are students at Carroll. 700 new bodies, and every year, fewer and fewer of them are from Waukesha because we see that number declining. So we put full-time recruiters in Minneapolis, and it's paying off. We have Phoenix is a simple flight from Phoenix to Milwaukee, and that area of the country has become a nice recruiting area for Carroll students to come here. Our job now, and I say it's our job, and it's our job in this room and beyond, is to make those students love this place so they won't want to go back. And that's not hard to do, but we know that they need to have positive internship experiences in your companies. And so I would just ask us, some of them they've been raised in different parts of the country. We bring in international students, so they think differently, they look differently. Some of them sound different. And so we need to make sure that the workforce that they're going into through internships are positive environments for them. And that's another way that we can increase the workforce for Waukesha County.
This is just a PS, and Robin may be able to say more. As technology and industry changes so fast, we as the educators and trainers often have a challenge of keeping up with equipment. So I was very excited as part of the educational steering committee to hear about the equipment donation program and advocating that it be expanded from the high schools to the colleges, and there was a reception to that. So I don't know if you want to say something about that, but that's an immediate way that we can build partnerships so that the way that we're training and educating students is going to have a direct link when they get to the workforce.
Absolutely, and the Business Alliance will continue to find ways to partner the business community, with education, institutions to be able to do just what you said. So thank you for that. President Barnhouse, you said something that I thought was striking and it kind of speaks to everyone. And so essentially what you were saying was you want to get inside the doors of businesses, right? And you want to see what's happening. That speaks to them. Again, and you were saying that better helps them at Carroll make decisions about the gas. And that better helps you forge them at the university level, the types of programs that you can have. So really the takeaway that I'm hearing from them is they want to be inside your doors. So I ask you as business leaders in the community to open your doors and allow these institutions to come in and learn your practices and understand what you're doing and hear what does the next 5 years look like. Because I think we all know the last several years things have changed. And they're going to continue to change and it's going to speed up. And the only way that these institutions are going to be able to deliver on the promises that they're setting forth is by activating and being a part of what you do every day. So with that, I'd like to open it up to the audience and see if there's any questions for these panelists here. I think we've got a little bit of time left, about, if I'm on, or maybe about like 5 minutes or so before I go. Sure, you want to step on up and introduce yourself maybe and where you're from and ask a question.
Sure. My name is Mike Lightning. I'm with the Food Pantry serving Waukesha County. One question that I have you talk a lot about getting feedback from the industry and business leaders. Is there reciprocation in where you're advocating and telling the leaders what the exiting students want when they are leaving or what they need when they're leaving?
Thank you for that question. A great question. Absolutely. A big part of what's happening is my colleagues here all know as we're working with it, is that there are at least 4 generations that are in the workforce right now, which certainly adds to the complexity overall. So what we're talking to employers about is this new generation of students coming out, which is Generation Z, and who they are, because they're very, very different than the millennials. So just as an example, if you ever hear somebody sort of mix millennial and Gen Z together like they're the same, go in the other direction. Because they are so different and need to be treated or understood so differently that you really need to think about Gen Z as separate from millennials. And so that's just an example of one of the things that we're working with employers about is who is the student who's a direct high school enrollment who's then going through college, university, and directly into the workforce. Also, I spent quite a bit of time speaking and talking about how to get these generations to work together, because that's a real conflict, as well as the new technology that's coming out, specifically artificial intelligence and machine learning, is how to work with the existing workforce and Generation Z coming in around this new technology, and that can be a real rallying point. Those are just some of the things that I'm sure that my colleagues will have other things to share.
I would just mention, we have an alumni network where there's mentoring. So there's many folks who are in the business community and can help mentors of our new graduates, and that reciprocal relationship can make a big difference in helping onboard a new UWM student to a company if there's like someone from UWM there that really can welcome them. They can have that feedback. But I agree with everything Rich is saying. Understanding the generational divides that are existing now really are important, and it's our role to help you all understand what that looks like as we graduate with students.
And the only other thing I would add, Rick mentioned the advisory committees. We all have those, and those are conversations that are very valuable and rich when we get together periodically for those meetings to talk about what is it that our students are saying that would be helpful feedback for the employer.
All right. Final thoughts? All right, well, I'd like to thank our panelists for taking the time to really speak to the community here, and thank you to the City of Waukesha for allowing us to have this conversation and project some of the things that are happening at their campuses. Again, I encourage you, open up your doors, because if you're in the business community, and I'll invite these individuals and their staff inside. And you know what? They're going to do the same. They're going to invite you on their campuses. They want you to see, and they want to continue that conversation. We, the Business Alliance, are happy to facilitate that. So please reach out to me or anyone on my team as we want to continue to drive solutions to meet your needs in the workforce. So thank you to our panelists, and give them a round of applause. I'm going to turn it over to the mayor.
Thank you very much, Robin. And this will never ever happen again, but we're right on schedule. Thank you very much, panelists. I was elected in 2014. At that point, when I started, the discussion was that we have a workforce crisis happening, and it's just going to get worse. And it's not a local issue, it's a nationwide issue. And it's something totally different than what it was in the 70s and the 80s and even in the 90s, where if you ran a manufacturing plant, you could kind of pick and choose anyone that you wanted. Also, the manufacturing plants were, I worked in some of them, and you'd come home covered in grime and stuff like that, and they're nothing like that now. But the point is that we have to do better at this than really the rest of the nation. Because if we do the same or even less, we're going to fall behind. time. If we do better, we'll continue to kind of cling to that edge and make it work. But I think the real big point is we have to continue doing better. And part of the reason why we asked the universities and colleges have talked today is because I think we are doing better. We still have to continue doing this, and it requires our manufacturers, it requires our employers, it requires everyone working to make this happen. Because I graduated in 1979. I think I had 300 people graduate with me, and now from that school they are lucky to have they have less than 100 kids graduating. So we're in a situation where we have to draw people in from other areas of the country to come here and work, or we're going to be staying. So I'm proud of how the community has responded to this, and it's been going on for about at least a decade, maybe even longer. But it's our universities, it's our colleges, it's our high schools as well as our grade schools, and then the Business Alliance. From the very beginning, I know the Business Alliance has been working on this. I've gone to some of the schools to work, and tours where kids are brought into manufacturing plants or other places, and the kids learn a lot. It would be even more helpful to have more of the parents go to those things too, because they learn a lot. My final thought is, what a wonderful time to be a teenager or a young adult. What job do you want? You know, you can pick it. Really, the kids with an idea of what they want to do, the world's their oyster. Employment is wide open. So I gotta just wrap up with that. Thank you all. I think this is something that we all needed to hear, and a lot of us probably already knew what's happening and what the problems are, but to be reminded of them and kind of to think about them again is really important. Thank you for coming this morning, and have a great week. Thank you.